Professor Wang, this year marked the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to the motherland and also 25 years of practice of the One China, Two Systems. So, how do you assess the characteristics of the policy in practice over the 25 years in the region?
Thank you very much. First of all, it's my pleasure to talk to you and share my views with you and the audience. The one country, two system policy has been in place and actually has been implemented for 25 years. In my assessment, this is really the greatest wisdom and the policy of the Chinese leaders. Over the last 25 years, Hong Kong has experienced a lot of ups and downs. I have to say that without China, without the mainland China, Hong Kong would have lost. Hong Kong would not have been the same, no matter what other people say. My personal experience is that without this one country, two system policy, Hong Kong could not be so successful. At the
Yes.
beginning, we were thinking, when we first heard about one country, two systems, we were thinking that it only meant that the lifestyle of Hong Kong people would remain unchanged. But actually, this policy has a lot of other implications. Most importantly, with this policy, Hong Kong can maintain its prosperity. Hong Kong can maintain its current position in the world. And with the motherland economy grows very rapidly, and also with the whole strength of the motherland growing, Hong Kong will benefit. And I hope Hong Kong will contribute as well to the motherland.
Could you elaborate? Yes, indeed, Hong Kong has had many ups and downs in the past 25 years, from the 1997 Asian financial crisis to the current severe outbreak of COVID-19. What role do you think one country, two systems has played in these critical moments?
Well, first of all, this one country, two system policy guarantees that Hong Kong can have its own system. What is the system? Economically, capitalist system. From a human rights point of view, we have privacy, freedom of speech. From legal point of view, independence of the judiciary. And also, from international point of view, Hong Kong stays as the bridge for the mainland China and for the outside world. I think this is very, very unique. I have to say, just now, Anna, you mentioned about 1997 Asian financial crisis. Well, in addition to that, we have 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
International financial crisis triggered from the United States. Who supported Hong Kong? Who backed up Hong Kong as an international financial center? What Hong Kong needed at that time? Stability. Hong Kong needed the stable incoming of the capital to make sure to enable this international financial crisis to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the money from? Mainland China. A lot of Chinese companies went to Hong Kong. They were listed in the Hong Kong stock market. A lot of Chinese tourists went to Hong Kong to boost the local economy. Also, whatever goods the Hong Kong people needed, they would rush into the territory. I think these are very, very special features. Take the current, you just now mentioned, COVID-19, for example. Obviously, Hong Kong could not control it itself. I mean, I'm very critical of the Hong Kong government insofar as this aspect is concerned. Hong Kong government should have done much, much better. And this actually shows Hong Kong government needs to be more open-minded, should not just think that whatever is from the Western countries would be much superior. No, the COVID-19 experience in mainland China is superb, and Hong Kong without the central government cannot move anywhere. When we fight against COVID-19, what do we need? What does a society need most? And now think about it. Confidence, right? Trust. And you know that your government will take you out of this problem, take you out of the crisis, right? Will lead you to stop the COVID-19 spreading. Could the Hong Kong government did it? Could the Hong Kong government do it? No, Hong Kong government did not do it. Hong Kong government was unable to do it. And then with the central government support coming in, then the local people, they say, okay, if you follow the views, the advice of the central government, we are confident that we will be successful. Unfortunately, Hong Kong government does not take the advice of the mainland, experts fully, and that's why the territory is still suffering. I'm not suggesting that the Hong Kong government should adopt the measures taken in mainland China fully. No, what I mean is Hong Kong government should have learned the lessons of Western countries. Mm-hmm. Also, to consider what measures they adopted, like what measures London adopted, Italy adopted, right? Korea adopted, and then consider what Macau has done, what mainland China has done, and then see, hey, what is the best for us? How can we reach a balance? The problem of Hong Kong government is that they simply doing nothing in the view of the society. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. And insofar as COVID-19 is concerned, I have to say that Western countries, they always have this superiority. They simply think, well, we are academic, technologically advanced. We're more experienced in dealing with pandemics and so forth. This is something new. And China is growing. Okay. And yes, when China has this problem, China, in addition to Western medicine, Western doctoral science, medical science, it has Chinese medicines, Chinese medical sciences, Chinese medical skills and treatment methods. I think in the whole world now should look look at China differently insofar as fighting against COVID-19 is concerned. I think we should treat everybody equally. And if you are doing well, I respect you. I learn from you. And that can show that you are strong rather than saying, oh no, what you have done is nothing. And you cannot take a blind eye on it, right?
Professor Wang, besides Beijing's swift and sweeping support, we also witnessed some criticism and questions from outside world. For example, the European Parliament recently released a 2021 annual report on the implementation of the common foreign and security policy. The report, quote, condemns the crackdown on democracy and freedom in Macau and Hong Kong, including through the imposition of the draconian national security law in 2020 backcode. What's your response on such accusations? For ordinary residents in Hong Kong, how has one country, two systems preserved their rights and way of life?
Well, let me tell you this personal experience. During that period, I was in Hong Kong. Okay. It's a riot. Nothing else, nothing less than that. First, you think other countries, the United States, European countries, would they tolerate the whole society stopped working? Just now you talk about economy, you talk about financial market. At that time, the banks, they were not robbed, but they were severely damaged. Okay, you can talk about freedom. Those people wearing black clothes, they had freedom. They could go anywhere, And once my younger son and myself went out after they attacked the police department in Chuanwan district. Then we thought maybe we should go out to take a look. You know what? We couldn't speak Mandarin, 普通话. Why? Because we were afraid we would be beaten. What language we spoke at home? We spoke 普通话 with each other, and we still speak 普通话 with each other. But at that time, we couldn't. What was my freedom? Think about it. My wife, because she's a legislator, when she walk out for a walk, she had to wear, more or less a mask because she was afraid she may be physically attacked by other people. Was that democracy? If that were permissible, why the United States did not allow what happened in the Capitol Hill on January the 6th? Why they punish those people? If that's a democracy, why Canada stopped the truck drivers, arrested them? Why? Do they really care about democracy? No. Personally, I don't agree. I totally don't agree. I think it's very simple. Now everybody can see they just double standard. Nothing else. Mm-hmm. Think about what happened in Ukraine today, right? Think about what they did for Ukrainians, right? And then we can easily think, hey, without this national security law, you think Hong Kong's order would have been restored? No, not at all. Mm-hmm. And then if Hong Kong's order were not restored, who would suffer? Me, myself, and millions of people like myself would suffer. And then when the Hong Kong economy couldn't move anywhere in the territory, the whole community would collapse. That's it. Very simple. And also think about what's in it. Before that, people in Hong Kong could not talk about patriotism. They couldn't say, I like mainland. I love China. The former president of the Hong Kong Law Association, once he said, oh, I think Communist Party is great. Consider what it has achieved in China. You know what happened? Mm-hmm. He was forced to step down just because he said this. Come on, is that freedom? What's the freedom? If you have the freedom, why someone cannot say that? Mm-hmm. I'm sure if someone said, oh, the United States is great, nobody would force the person to step down from that position. Come on. I don't care whether they have, a political agenda or not. The truth is, I'm a person from Hong Kong. I live in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is my home. I want Hong Kong to be a good place, to be a better place. And anyone who wants to damage Hong Kong, anyone who has done damages to Hong Kong, I don't think Hong Kong people should tolerate. That's it. I don't care what other people say. Mm. If they don't believe, they should come to Hong Kong to take a look.
This year is the last year for members of the 13th CPPCC National Committee to assume their duties. And as a member from Hong Kong, you have certainly given a lot of thoughts to the development of the city and also to the implementation of a steady and a sustained one country, two system policy. So could you share with us one or two proposals you have submitted over the years?
I think 2 points. One, this year is already the 25th year. We have another 25 years to go for the current term of one country, two systems policy. The question for Hong Kong people is, what will happen after 25 years? Of course, we cannot wait for 25 years and then get the answer. I have always been articulating that Hong Kong people should consider what you want. What you want is what you want the system to be 25 years later. One. Second, what you want to contribute, not only to Hong Kong, but also to mainland China. On the one hand, you maintain the system. I think in my view, from my point of view, if you want to maintain the system, you have to make sure that both sides will benefit. You think, oh, as someone from Hong Kong, I want this, I want that, fine. But at the same time, you think what you can contribute to the motherland so that the one country, two systems will benefit everybody. That's one. The other One is we have seen that Hong Kong government has been considered as the most efficient government, but not recently. Either in this rise period or the fighting against COVID-19, we see that very slow decisions, if any, were taken by the Hong Kong government. Obvious mistakes were made. And the performance of the government was not up to the standard of the expectations of the society. And when that happens, who should be held accountable? I think a system should be put into place so that in future, when we see any official appointed by the central government is not functioning, there should be a mechanism through which that official should be replaced and could be replaced, to say the least. Also, the system of accountability should be put into place in the Hong Kong government. It's not just because, oh, someone has done something wrong, has violated the rules, then the person would step down. No. If someone does not perform up to the standard of the society, then that person should step down. A system should be there.
The 2 points you mentioned, the slow response from the Hong Kong government on the 2019 riots and the inaction of some politicians, they have also been questioned by the West, saying that they are the results of mainland's stringent control over Hong Kong.
Well, I think that I have to say it's a result of their ignorance of Hong Kong. Had the central government intervened into the affairs of Hong Kong, the Hong Kong government would be much more efficient. Consider why the measures are so effective in mainland China. Why? Because all the government officials are held accountable. If they don't perform, right? If anything happens in their locality, they are done, right? Simple. But then that's the problem of Hong Kong. That's why I say it is not because the central government has done too much, just because the central government has not done enough. They should do more because those officials were appointed by them. So they should, I mean the central government. So the central government should make sure that they perform. If they don't perform, they should go. That's it.
So are you saying this is a legacy from British colonial time?
That could be, but the world is changing, Anna. Every government really has to, adapt itself to the new environment, right? To progress together with the development of the world. You can't simply live, in a status 20 years ago, 40 years ago. No. We all need to learn something new, right? Adapt ourselves to the new environment.
You mentioned the international and domestic situations are undergoing profound and complex changes. Then, what's your solution to Hong Kong as a global metropolis? In what way will the city better adapt itself into a more dynamic world and continue to prosper under the One China, Two Systems?
Well, actually, a lot actually can be done. Well, take the common law, for example. Hong Kong lawyers, Hong Kong legal experts are very fluent in English, are very familiar with the common law. And at the moment, common law is widely used in the WTO dispute settlement system, in international investment dispute settlement system, arbitration, and also in the United States, Australia, New Zealand, UK, and other countries, they all use common law. And when we have an issue, I think first, Hong Kong legal circle should be able to have a better communication with the Western counterparts. And at the same time, they should be able to play the role as a bridge, because after all, Hong Kong people are Chinese. They know the Chinese culture, right? They know the way how Chinese think and act. So that way, eventually, Hong Kong should be able to do a much better service through providing legal provisions. And that can be done in various ways. One is dispute resolution, arbitration, lawsuit, and second, training. They should be able to train the younger legal experts. Third, they should be able to help the experts from mainland China and get familiar with the case law system in the world. And also, they should be able to bring mainland Chinese experts and foreign experts together to work on some projects. For instance, for this Belt and Road initiative, it requires a lot of legal understanding. It requires the creation, drafting of legal rules. But if those legal rules are only drafted by mainland Chinese colleagues, other people may think, hey, wait a moment, who are you? Why you do this? And then if we bring all the people together, not only experts from mainland China, but also from Hong Kong, also from other countries, and then people may think, oh, yes, if I'm part of it, I should support it. And who can do this? I think Hong Kong people in a much better position. To say the least, when they go to some other countries, they don't need a visa.